Welcome back to Stories by the Cup. I'm Zach, and this is my wife, Haley.
Hi!
She is our lovely resident artist for Haley's Cosmos, who does pretty much all of my thumbnails. So, thanks for coming on.
Sure.
Today I'm doing something a little different. I don't have a story for you, but I wanted to share some of the things that we got. It's essentially our book haul. We kind of got a few other things with it. Some stuff that we can look forward to being on the channel at a later date, more than likely. All right, we went to a local bookshop called Rediscovered Books. If you're in the Boise, Idaho area, I will leave a link to their shop in the description. The first book that I ended up picking up from that store was the Murderbot Dairies by Martha Wells. I have heard a lot about Murderbot Dairies, and I am excited to read it. I want to read it before watching the TV show, which is now on Apple TV. Martha Wells, I have a few of her books, but I'm really excited for this one. This one sounds really interesting. So, the second book that I have been looking forward to is The Lies of Locke Lamora. This is by Scott Lynch, and if you haven't heard of this book, I've heard some amazing things about it. It's actually a book that Brandon Sanderson recommends pretty highly. Just a quick overview. An orphan's life is harsh and often short in the mysterious island city of Camor. But young Locke Lamora dodges relentless danger, becoming a thief under the tutelage of a gifted con artist. As leader of the band of light-fingered brothers known as the Gentlemen Bastards, Locke is soon infamous, fooling even the underworld's most feared ruler. But in the shadows lurks someone still more ambitious and deadly, faced with a bloody coup that threatens to destroy everyone and everything that holds meaning in his mercenary life. Locke vows to beat the enemy at his own brutal game, or die trying. Book has been getting some very high-rated reviews, so I am excited, super excited to read this book. And then the last one I picked up comes recommended by the bookstore, Rediscovered Books. Everyone that works there, there's like this little section that has a tower where every one of the employees does a recommendation, and it just has a couple of their favorite books that they have picked out. So I ended up picking up a book I've never heard of before called Red Rabbit by Alex Gratian. This book just sounds right up my alley, coming off of reading Wax and Wayne, the Mistborn Era 2. This one sounds intriguing. So saddle up, it's going to be a bloody ride. Sadie Grace is wanted for witchcraft, and every hired gun in Kansas is out to collect the bounty on her head, including bona fide witch hunter Old Tom and his mysterious mute ward Rabbit. On the road to Bourbon County, they're joined by two vagabond cowboys with a strong sense of adventure, but no sense of purpose, and a recently widowed school teacher with nothing left to lose. As their posse grows, so too does the danger. Racing along the drought-stricken plains in a stolen red stagecoach, they encounter monsters more wicked than witches lurking along the dusty trail, but the crew is determined to get that bounty or die trying.
So the first book is actually one that you picked out for me. You found it on the shelf and thought it might be something that I would enjoy. So I purchased The Last Dragon of the East by Katrina Kwan. This is following some Chinese traditional atmosphere, which I find really interesting. This is outside of the normal scope that I read. So I'm going to go ahead and read the back. At the sprying age of 25, Sai has led a quiet life, barely keeping the family tea house up and running, while taking care of his ailing mother. But he's paralyzed a not-so-secret gift into a side career. He can see the red threads of fate between soulmates, which lends itself nicely to matchmaking. Sai has never tried to follow his own thread, which is gray and fraying. But Sai's extraordinary existence is about to be turned upside down when his mother's doctor sells him a pair of dragon scales, claiming they're a miracle cure. Sai is pretty sure he's being scammed. When the medicine actually works, Sai finds himself forced by his ruthless emperor into the search for a dragon thought long extinct. Thrown into the heart of a brewing war, he must face down terrifying challenges both magical and mortal. And for the very first time, he may discover who's at the other end of his thread of fate. The book that I picked out was Rialto. It's from the best-selling author of Green Glass House, Kate Milford. I really loved the artwork on this one, and this book is about Ivy and Delilah Vicar know this summer's trip to visit friends in Rialto, Missouri is going to be different from their usual family vacations. Delilah, an artist who lives with anxiety, is looking forward to something new. Rialto, after all, has its own abandoned theme park, but mystery-loving Ivy is struggling with how to be the right kind of big sister to Delilah, and longs for the way things, especially vacations, were when they were younger. When they arrive, it becomes clear that this vacation will also be different in unexpected ways. For one thing, the town is in the middle of an improbable forest that, according to local legend, swallowed it overnight decades before. Then there are Delilah's even more improbable sightings of impossible creatures, a giraffe with antlers and a leopard with wings. And there's their new friend, Remy, whose recently departed aunt left bequest for local friends that Remy must personally distribute. When he enlists Ivy and Delilah to help deliver these gifts, they find themselves drawn into a mystery going back to the time when Rialto Park was still open, and it begins to seem that if they are going to help Remy solve it, they will have to find a way to believe in magic. This sounds like a whimsical story. I'm very excited for this one.
I like how it's following an artist.
I know. I read that. I'm like, might be something up my alley.
And that was everything we got from Rediscovered Books. It's a very nice local bookstore here in Boise, Idaho, and they are just so passionate, and it was really cool all the different things that they have going on. They have lots of events that they do throughout the year and the months. But the last place that we ended up going was Barnes & Noble, and we got quite a few things from there. Why don't we start with this?
Oh my goodness. Okay, I picked this one out. This is the Witch Hat Atelier art book. I specifically got it because the artwork is just so beautiful, and I love the line work. I hope to someday be able to mimic something like that. The textures are wonderful.
Wow.
Isn't it stunning?
It's really cool. The show's really amazing. But yeah, I really like this show. The storytelling is really, really good. And the animation team behind this does a really great job going into all the details of everything. So they had a bunch of books that were buy one, get one 50% off. And so I could not help myself and just got a bunch. So I'll just rapid fire these off. Hopefully most of you are familiar with The Wheel of Time. This is by Robert Jordan. This is the book one of Wheel of Time, which I haven't read any of. I've seen part of the show, but I'm really interested in reading the book. I'm about to finish The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, so I'm really looking forward to getting into this series, which inspired Brandon quite heavily. So the second book that I got was The Shadow of Gods by John Gwynne. This is an author that I've been looking into for a while now, and I've heard nothing but great things about this book. This is book one of the Bloodsworn saga, and the artwork in there just looks so cool. Look, the giant dragon, the epic proportions versus the person. I cannot wait to dive into this book. This will be really cool. The third book I ended up picking up is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. This sounded really interesting. N.K. Jemison's a pretty well-known author, and I believe it's this series she actually won Hugo Awards for, the entire series essentially, which is amazing.
Wow.
So this one I hadn't heard about before, but I am really interested to get into. I can go through this real quick. This is the way the world ends for the last time. It starts with the Great Red Rift across the heart of the world's sole continent, spewing ash that blots out the sun. It starts with death, with a murdered son and missing daughter. It starts with betrayal and long dormant wounds rising up to fester. This is the stillness, a land familiar with the catastrophe, where the power of earth is wielded as a weapon, and where there is no mercy. So this just seems interesting. I can't wait to dive into that. And then the last book, this is actually a oldie but a goodie. This is Neuromancer by Will Gibson. I think this is a recent re-release, but this is a science fiction, and William Gibson is credited for kind of pioneering the cyberpunk genre. Case was the sharpest data thief in the Matrix until he crossed the wrong people and they ripped his nervous system, banishing him from cyberspace. Now, a mysterious new employer has recruited him for a last chance run at an unthinkably powerful artificial intelligence. With a dead man riding shotgun and Molly, a mirror-eyed street samurai, to watch his back, Case is ready for the adventure that upped the ante of an entire genre of fiction. Yeah, this is a classic, and I can't wait to read that. And then the last two books that I picked out for myself are by Brandon Sanderson and Dan Wells. I absolutely love those two. I follow their podcast, and they talk a lot about other authors, which is part of the reason why I got some of the previous books that I did. But I have been looking forward to reading a book by Dan Wells, but it has been so hard to find a book in stores. I Am Not a Serial Killer by Dan Wells. This is horror genre, which I can't think of a horror book that I've read, but I'm really interested in this. And this just sounds really cool. For anybody interested, I will actually be reading this during the month of October. I kind of have a spooky themed lineup, so as we get closer to October, I'll reveal the full lineup, but this is going to be one of them in that lineup. And then I also ended up picking up Brandon's book that he won a Hugo Award for, which is The Emperor's Soul. Now, personally, I think Brandon deserves more Hugos than he has, but he's always had some stiff competition for the Hugo Award, so I'm glad he got it for this. This is just a light novella that he wrote. This is taking place, I don't know if in sequence to Elantris, but I know it relates to or is in the same world that Elantris is in. So if you've read Elantris, I assume if any of you are fans of Brandon Sanderson, you've read this, but yes, I've heard really good things about this, and I can't wait. This is his 10-year anniversary special edition, so that was kind of a cool little find.
So I grabbed these two items. They're not really, I purchased sticker books. I have two of them. Books? Yes. So this one is specifically woodland creatures that are done in an art style that I really admire. It's really close to some of the botanical stuff that I like to do. And then I also purchased another sticker book that is specifically national parks. And one of the reasons why I really wanted this book is because this is where I derive a lot of my inspiration for doing my wildlife stickers for like Fish and Game, American Fisheries Society.
Shameless plug. Haley's Cosmos. Go check it out. Stickers available now. That's why I bought it, was because it provides me inspiration that I can carry into my work. And that's what both of these are designed for me. Cool.
This one is primarily going to be going into my artist analysis book, though. This will help me make it all unified, because I just have that artist eye that I want it all to look good, even though it's just notes. But yeah, I think it'll look great. So I'm very excited to use those.
And then the last book was kind of an impulse buy. I've never heard of this before, but I saw it, and the first thing that caught my eye, number one, was just the fish on there. The title, Heretical Fishing, it's by Haylock Jobson, and at the very top it says, "The best book I've read this year," by Matt Dinneman, the author of Dungeon Crawler Carl. We've both gotten into Dungeon Crawler Carl recently, and it is really good. So I'm curious what Matt Dinneman thinks, and Just reading the back of this, it sounds very interesting. So, a world abandoned by the gods, mystifying cosmic forces, unimaginable power for those willing to ascend, and a hero who would rather go fishing. When summoned to a fantastical world and granted powers by a broken system, most freshly minted protagonists would strap on their big boy boots and get ready for their stats to start climbing. But Fisher isn't like most MCs. In fact, he doesn't want to be a hero at all. Fame, fortune, power. He had enough of all of those in his old life. Discovering forbidden fishing techniques and petting every cute animal that comes within scritching distance, now that's a good time. Unfortunately for Fisher, cosmic forces rarely care for mortal feelings. He's hounded on all sides by inept cults, conspiring nobles, and more magical misunderstandings than those of a preteen relationship. Even his dutiful pet crab is firing energy blades like an anime antagonist. So grab your fishing rod, a good snack, and pet your dog for me. The catch of a lifetime awaits.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
This just sounds awesome. Yeah, I've never heard of this author before, but the pages are just, I mean, those colors pop. But I am so intrigued. It sounds kind of like an isekai, other worlds, dying, going into another world, and becoming this overpowered person. Whether he's overpowered or not, I don't know, but I guess we'll find out.
I'm really excited for this book.
And there's one more thing. I just also impulse bought this literally on the way out, but I saw the cute little fox in the corner and said, Haley needs this. She needs the fox in her life. So you're going to open this, and we're going to see what you get. I'm wanting you to get the fox, but I'm also curious what the rare color awaits for the bats. But there's some very cute little creatures on the side, so we'll see if you get Pengy, Bill, Siri, Steggy, or Foxy. Don't know what the bat's name is. Well, probably Batty.
Okay. Yay. All right. All right. Okay. It feels soft. He's so cute.
Which one is that supposed to be?
Oh, it's B. B-I-I. Oh my goodness. B for real. That is so cute. He's so fluffy.
So, that was our little haul.
Little?
It was more than I sometimes get. It was actually a lot more than usually get. Granted, we went to 2 stores rather than just 1. Again, Rediscovered Books. We're not sponsored by them or anything, but I like to shout out our local bookstores when we can. If you can, buy local. I also understand going to Barnes & Noble once in a while to get some things that you just don't find at the local bookstores that are smaller and don't have quite as much. I encourage anybody and everybody to go out and find stories to share and explore with each other, and that'll be pretty much it for us. So I hope you all had a cozy little time with us, and until we see you next time, I'll have a warm beverage waiting for you and a story to share. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.